Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, B'dash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the brothers that are teaching His word. Shalom. Shalom. Yeah, man. Brothers just, here and, we were just talking about some stuff and pretty much how America and England, we were watching stuff on Rome pretty much. Travel show, and they were showing Rome. And they were basically showing you that, well, we said to each other, like, it's funny, how can you not see that America is Rome all over again? And then the travel show, the guy, Anthony Bourdain, what did he say? He said, he goes, this kind of reminds me of New York, the Senate House, because there was a Senate House there that they went to, and he said, this reminds me of a structure in New York. So that was, the spirit that is nothing but Rome all over again. The kingdoms of old reincarnated is America, man, which is ultimately Mystery Babylon. So let's go. You got something up?
Yeah. I'll get the scripture.
I'll get Revelation 11 as well. Yeah.
Come on. Go on, man. What that scripture is in Maccabees?
Which one?
The Senate houses.
I'll find it.
This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to get this. I don't know why I'm thinking of this.
Okay.
He says, the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the show that we were watching, man, this woman was basically saying that he said that's what idols are for. She said that idols are created they're lifted up to be destroyed. And she was talking about Mussolini and different things that they were talking about, and then looking at the architecture and things like that. And that's exactly what the Lord's going to do. See, this is just Rome, America, starting with America, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures. It's an amalgamation of all these different empires. It's got it's that spirit of Egypt. It's got a spirit of Sodom. Going back to the Hamites, it's got a spirit of Babylon.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're reading it. That's why we're saying this, the idols of Egypt. You got all different types of idols over there. The Washington Monument, and the different places. That's all going to be brought to, it's going to be burnt up.
Yeah, and when we was watching it, the lady that was speaking to the travel show guy, she was saying to him like the brother mentioned, Mussolini, they had him up as an idol, and she said, yeah, but idols are erected to be brought down. That's and that's true. All right, and that's funny. The brother read that the Lord is gonna ride in upon Egypt and destroy the idols thereof, man. And that's kind of happening now when you see with what's going on around the world with the statues being pulled down. That's the idols of Esau, like the different slave masters and whatever, all being brought down. Which is, we know it's New World Order, but that's prophecy, man. Idols being brought down. All right, that's sure signs of a kingdom coming to its end when the people you reverence, their statues are coming down throughout the world. All right, so that's a big thing. But the Lord, when He comes, He gonna destroy all of their idols, man. And one of the main idols in this planet is that one that they got in Brazil. Cesare Borgia. What do they call it? The Christ of the Andes. I think they call that. I think that's what they call that. The Lord's gonna destroy that. And you got people that worship that. It looks over Rio de Janeiro. And the Lord's going to destroy it, man. You've got that same statues like that built under the sea. So that has a vibration. But the Most High, He coming to bring that to His end, man. All right? Go on, that. But this is Rome all over again, pretty much, man. Rome, the way it's built. And who was watching the show, man, they had these they had a restaurant. And the restaurant, it showed you people, it was a boxing ring. People getting their heads splattered, boxing, and they're eating spaghetti, and kids watching it eating spaghetti. It's Rome. The games, everyone was like, ah, making noise. When you watch the Gladiator and them films, and you see women in the crowds with their tits out, bread's getting thrown at them, and then the people are just, there's blood and guts. It looked like that, but a modern time, It's just funny stuff, man.
Yeah, and in the show, the guy was talking about how he was big. The main guy was bigging up Empire State Building in New York, and the woman was cutting him. And she was being proud. She was basically saying, "Look, why'd you go there? Because it's tall, We have the Colosseum,
Yeah,
you know,
we've got this to see,
which is more ancient, you know. But that's alluding back to what this is the same thing. You know, you got Colosseum. What about you got Colosseums, even grander Colosseums in America. That's the new Rome. And New Rome are doing it bigger than Old Rome.
Yeah,
you know, they got the kind of Colosseums you got there, man. They've got the highest tech. The roof closes. That's still a Colosseum. These American football, you got the Super Bowl and all these big things.
Yeah,
over there. That's the new Colosseum. You go to the Colosseum now, it's a relic.
and they showed you in that when the last part of this program we were watching, man, they showed you he went to a place where they basically used to hold Congress. I believe it was in Mussolini's time, but you know, it looked like the Senate houses, man. It said, and it at the top of it, it said, I can't remember what it said in Italian, but it said, what did it say?
I can't remember.
But then it said Congressi at the top of it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, man, that's what do you have in America? Congress, Senate houses. It's the same model, man.
Yeah.
All right?
Got a precept.
Go on, brother. And that one in Maccabees is, I've got it here. Can read it after, you know?
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
So there's nothing new under the sun, man. See, where Esau's tricked you in this world is that he's made you believe that this is how it's been from the beginning of time, how we're living now and all that. You know, there's never been any prior kingdoms. No one thinks, man. You see, to know what's going on, you've got to know what's happened in the past, man. But Esau, he's blocked the past out. Like, he's the Illuminati, right? They've kept information for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And when you keep information for yourself and you dumb the people down, it's easy to sway them either way, man. You know what I'm saying? But when you go into the scriptures, all the history of the world is in the Bible, man. You have to know the things of the past, because then it links up with what's happening today. But what did the scriptures just say? Brother read it just now in Ecclesiastes. He says, the thing that has been, it's basically, there's nothing new under the sun, brothers, man. It's all reincarnated, all back here, all over again, man.
Yeah, if you had any thoughts, even thoughts, they probably been had before. You know, and even this word, we're preaching this word, right? A lot of the things that we're teaching, we were you know, Lord willing will be of that number.
Yeah.
We were teaching it back then when Yahushua was there and the disciples.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
So they're not new under the sun. And it's in terms of this place, America, you know, and Rome and all that, there ain't nothing new under the sun. Because the next verse says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us.
Wow, so yeah. So it said it had been already of old time, which was before us. So meaning it's already, what we're seeing today, we saw back then. Pretty much, man.
Oh, and by the way, can I just
Go ahead. Go on.
I was going to say, things were better back then in the sense that more quality. Because things have decayed over time, you know, through time and through the wickedness of Esau and control. Because if you look at it like this, even the empires that are spoken of in Daniel, what was the head made of? Which is Babylon. Which these are wicked heathen empires. But the head was made of gold. You know, the next empires, the Medo-Persians, that was silver. And these are precious metals. Until what? You got to the last kingdom, which we're in now, which is the iron mixed with miry clay.
Yeah.
That's weak.
It's weak. This is the only thing that makes this place tough is this army. That's it. You know, because and that's another cut, man. Because what was America's got a great army, man. And what was Rome known for?
Great army.
A great army. That's how they took the world over. Esau took the world over at the time of the Roman Empire by his great army. And there's no doubt about it. The Roman army was a fantastic military, man. Their tactics, their weapons, you know, the way they swiftly conquered the earth. You see, they were a great military. But then America has really surpassed what the ancient Roman army did. Because they've taken the whole planet. Rome didn't take the whole planet. The Roman army. They took like North Africa. They took parts of Asia. You know, parts of Asia. They took, of course, the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, well, that's in the scriptures in Luke, the 2nd chapter. When you have it says that one of the Caesars, he might have been Augustus, I don't know. One of the Caesars, he taxed the world.
Yeah.
But that world, the word there is Icomene, which pretty much is the world as a whole, but it was not the known world at the time. You know,
what they had control over.
What they had control over, because you can't tax places you don't have control over. You know, So that shows you that, you know, they had a certain amount of control. But now, you got the World Bank. Now you got the World Bank giving out loans, interest, usury. So they're
taxing the whole planet.
And they own all the governments. The central banks own all the governments.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
Satan, man.
That's alright, I'll sort it out.
Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You in there, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice one, bro. Nice
So the World Banks own all these governments, and the governments are taxing the hell out of the people. You know? And who's it all going? Which pocket is it all going back to? It's all going back into the hands of the elites.
The Rothschilds.
The real resources and all that, man.
And it's funny you mentioned the elites because we like through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the Lord has given us truth, yeah, and He's made us look into history, and we watch things to do with history, man. Like we watched Roman war movies, we watch time of the samurai ages, the Middle Ages. We watch these things because we were there. And when you look at the elites, we were watching something on them, the Gettys, man. And when you go in this dude's house, man, he had like an astronomy house that you can look. He's built his ceilings like the stars. You know, he's got all artifacts from Rome, pillars, statues. So they're into that type of stuff, man. So we got to be into it, and because the scriptures is into it. And when we equate all these things we see, all right, guess what? We line it up with the Bible, and it's clear to us that what we're living in today is nothing but Rome all over again, man. It's very clear, man.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to know these things, man. You got to, you know, even the statues that they have, you know, these elites have, you know, the artifacts of the world. Guess what? There's modern things built like that today, man. Standing in Italy, standing in America. You know, like them statues of those busts of, they say King. There's a bust in Florence, or they say it's of King David. You know, that Renaissance art, man, with the rods hanging out and whatever.
Oh, they got that in the British Museum.
They got that in the British Museum. They got statues like that in open towns in England, man, in this world.
Yeah.
That, you know, so yeah, man. So what was that? What was you reading there? Ecclesiastes is nothing new.
Yeah, I'll read it again. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? We have been already of old time, which was before us.
So that's right. So it's already been here before, man. So this is but you have to have the spirit to know that, because you see, if you didn't know these things, you just think that this world it's just been like this from the beginning of time. You know, America's just always been here. England the Esau's just always been ruling. There's never been anything prior to that.
Yeah.
That's how they fucking confuse you, man. Yeah. And then anyone that's bringing out the history is you know, you have to go to Esau to get the history. You know, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
And this is all the technology that this guy's got and all that he's... See, America has that, like, glitz and glamour. The West has that over, you know, the gold. It's like, look at our technology, look at this. But that's all old stuff. And in a poorer, worsened state. Like, you know, for example, ICBMs, you know, the wasted to destroy, as it is written. Well, the Lord had that technology already in Sodom when He destroyed that place. Yeah. You know. Or what about the priests? The priests in Israel, they had the ephod. You know. I think in the Hebrew it's iPhod. And if you look at the modern day iPad and the iPhone, the Urim
that's what is, yeah.
That's what it's alluding to. It's the same thing, but it's just that they've got the Lord's given them like a dumbed down version of it for this time.
That's right.
Really, all that technology is for us to push the word, because the scripture says in Matthew 24 that the word had to be published on the whole earth, and then the end would come. Yeah. You know, so the internet done the heavy lifting, and the internet's in the scriptures. Yeah,
like another thing, like the sword, the modern day sword today is what? The gun.
Yeah.
Which is basically a form of a sword, a killing instrument, man. But what the Lord did is He gave Esau these, you know, with that pride, you know, they got the power of flight, you know, and, you know, because in the Roman Empire, they weren't flying planes, but they're flying it in this empire, you know?
Yeah.
And in Roman Empire, they never had the Gatling gun, but they got it in this empire. But the Lord just did that to show you, look, He gave them the inspiration to make these things, man, just to fulfill His will in the end. You see, so there's nothing new under the sun, man. You know, the fact that Esau is ruling in this time with America, which is Rome all over again, that happened in the past life, man. But it was just, and people migrate, people move to different parts of the planet. See, what we were just watching now was where the hub of Esau's kingdom was at the time of the pagan Roman Empire, which is what? Rome, which is located where? Italy, man. Now, it's the hub of Esau is located where? America. Washington DC, that's, you know, whatever the major cities there. Anyway, brother, go on. I've got that Senate houses one.
That was it on that one, bro.
Can't. I'll bring this out. Yeah, this is a First Maccabees 8:15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered. All right. So what's that talking about? That's talking about basically a government, man. This is the time of the Maccabees, and I believe this was in Rome as well, because they sent out for a word from Rome, innit? You know, for what was going on back in Jerusalem. I think that's how that's what was going down. Basically, they sent out word to get help, basically, from Rome. You know, pretty much, because they were dealing with the oppression of the Greeks in Jerusalem. You know, but look, check it what it said. It said, moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered. So that was a council of men. What you see today, politicians. No, in this province, we should tax them 50 shekels in this province. In this province, this is what we should do. In this province, this is what we should build. What the fuck do they do today? This is how it should be in Texas. Okay, in the eastern states of America, this is how we want things. In the Senate, in the government, pretty much. You know, that's what they were doing. And there's nothing new under the sun. They were doing it back then, and it's happening today.
Yeah.
In England, what do you have? In England, you have Parliament, which is where they hold court, and they have different politicians and different MPs for different towns in this country. This is how we want Manchester to be run. We're going to fund this. You know, we're going to not fund this area, whatever. So how is schooling? How is, you know? Yeah. That's how it works, brother. And brothers, and it says, so there's nothing new under the sun. So you can't say this ain't wrong. Big ass pillars. You enter in there and it's a massive circle house where it's a massive circle where all these dudes are sitting down delegating what they're going to do on the planet. Come on, man. It's the same thing was happening back then. And them same politicians in power today were the same guys back then. You know? So it says, and they committed their government to one man every year. What's that? That's your president, man. Yeah, we're going to vote in, you know, you got 6 candidates and one wins it every year. And he becomes the so-called, supposedly the head of the country. Yeah. All right? And it says, every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation amongst them. That's what, you know, but, you know, they're always going to be strife and all that amongst these politicians.
Which was their form of order.
It's their form of order.
Which is the Edomite form of order.
That's right. So they put one guy in there, but then really when that president is in there, you've got people over them. We know you've got a super elite over them, right? But then you've got all those politicians that are under him. They're all fighting for their own little power and stuff like that, and they get in his ear, and they show you that in the Roman movies, man. This guy gets in that guy's ear, and this guy gets in that guy's ear to sway him this way, because he's supposedly got the power of all the land. But it's really a lot of them guys, you know, just under him. They've got a lot of power, you know, over what that guy's doing. A lot of them are just puppets, those presidents, man. Yeah. They're just puppets. Yeah. And the ultimate rulers is this wicked elite over them, you know, but a lot of them... the dudes are just fucking puppets, man. Voted in.
When Rome had that power...
Those presidents, gone.
When Rome had that power, when Rome had that power, and that's how they were running their shit. Mm-hmm. If you think about it like this, you had emperors and different things like that, right? Now when Jake came into rulership in the Dark Ages, after this, after Edomites were put down according to prophecy and revelations, shut up for 1,000 years, when Jake won rulership, how were they ruling? Were they ruling by Senate houses? No, they had a divine right of kings.
That's it.
There was a king to answer to, and the king had the overall rulership. Now, over time, when Edomites were coming back up in the Renaissance, their power waned, and you know, through treachery and treason and backstabbing they bring us down, and that's prophecy. Now, today you've got the same thing. It went all the way back to what? Parliaments and Senate houses, showing you who's in rulership.
Yeah.
You know, it shows you that
that's the way of Rome.
Rulership.
Yeah, that was the way of Rome, man.
Yeah. Or was that First Maccabees? Public show. Would you be able to read that? Yeah. With Alexander.
Yeah.
And I got a precept for you after.
Can. But that's what it is, man. Because you know what's funny you saying that, because when Rome was falling, this empire was falling. This empire is falling too, which is Rome. What was happening in ancient Rome? Jakes were becoming the Caesars. So they did still keep, you know, like that structure, but it was Jakes getting up in there. But what did they start doing? They were changing laws. And then when Jake got up in there, the Colosseums got closed down. Because who the fuck was fighting in the Colosseums? It was Jakes. That ended up getting closed down. So things was happening, man. But they still had the early, remember we were watching that thing we watched before, like a few years back, The Quick History of Rome. That's a dope little 20-minute clip, but it goes into the different Caesars in the timeline, and then you can tell when Jake was getting up in there because things were changing. You know, like the laws and stuff like that was changing. So that was happening. But then what happened ultimately was obviously when Jake fully got control, obviously they changed the structure of things, man. That obviously happened over time, you know?
Yeah. Or even when the Jake rulers were coming in, the Caesars, you know, the names would start coming back, like the wise, the benevolent, the merciful, the you know, the philosopher, like, you know? Yeah. It's true.
So yeah, you was going into the divine right of kings. That obviously would have happened as time went on, you know? Change, you know? Because that's what happens, man. When kingdoms get taken over and then different rulerships come in, different structures start coming in, you know? That's what happens, man. But you see, you can always tell, you know, Esau's structure, because this is what you get, man. What we're in now. The Senates, you know, these guys passing all these laws and treachery. This is all politicians that just lie. Because you're not getting they for years, what they've implemented in this society, Esau's kingdom, nothing has changed. The poor are still poor, and the elites and the people in power are the ones prospering. Nothing ain't changed. And it's all just lies that they spew in their courts. Same thing was happening in Rome. Just watch those old documentaries, man.
Oh, and in the kingdom of Israel, which is to come, when Esau is the end of the world, when this wicked is put out, it's going to go back to that right of kings. First of all Israel is going to be made into kings and priests anyway. But we're going to have a king over us, sort of like an emperor, a top king. That's going to be King David, man. You know? And
Kings on earth.
Which is part of the 12 thrones. He's the top throne, you know, under Yahushua. And then you're going to have the other, you know, out of the 12 disciples, the other, you know, 11 sitting on thrones as well, man. We're all going to we're gonna be like kings.
There's gonna be like order to it, but it's gonna go back to how it is, the kings. And I believe the king word goes back to a man, isn't it? The king, like the kingdom. It's like the kingdom is like a kingdom is. If you say you got a kingdom, it's like the dominion of the men, isn't it? Basically. Yeah. See, because even in this country, they got it all wrong, man. You got the United Kingdom, but which? King James United.
That's why they call it the Union Jack.
The Union Jacobites. King James United England, which King James was a so-called black man. He united this land. These devils are just sitting on the throne. They usurp the throne, and you have the fucking queen, the queen of this land. You know, when really it's a kingdom. You know, that's why the Lord's gonna bring things back to its rightful order, man. You know. Yeah, man. So it's going to be a kingdom, and it's going to be kings ruling over that kingdoms, man. Go on, brother. I mean, I've got Maccabees, yeah?
Oh, sure.
This is First Maccabees 1:7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them.
Yeah, and by the way, Alexander that's prophecy. He's known in the scriptures, he's referenced to as a leopard, you know? That's correct, isn't it? Yeah. Reference as a leopard, if I remember correctly. That was all prophecy.
Swift leopard, man.
It was. He swiftly, in his couple years that he was in rulership, took over great lands and won great wars. You know, and that was not through his own strength, through prophecy. He actually had dreams and stuff. You know, why? Because the Lord was setting up Edom as a power on the earth at that time. That's what. Because the Lord lifts up kings and brings down others. You know, like the Hamite kings, the Babylonian kings, Cush and all that, and Assyrians and all that. All those different nations that were in rulership, you know, the Medes, the Persians, Elam, all of that was the Lord setting it up. And ain't nothing different now. The Lord has set up the basis of men upon the earth. And if you notice, The scriptures say that as the ruler of the people is, so are his judges and officers. Now, if you look at an architect, right, an architect ain't just going to be able to build something in the land unless the king gives the say so.
Yeah.
So if the same kind of king spirits are in rulership, which is the wicked,
Yeah.
the Alexanders, the Antiochuses and all that, right?
Yeah.
They're going to ask for the same kind of architecture to be built again. And if you look at which we'll go into that in the thing, you know, the brother mentioned the Congress, the building just looked like the ones in, the guy in the video said, Anthony Bourdain, he said the building is just like the ones in America.
Yeah.
Because it's the same rulers asking for the same architecture. It's the same spirit.
Same structure.
Yeah, when we were in rulership in Dark Ages, you go to Scotland right now and type in Edinburgh Castle, and you're going to see this castle that King James had, where he was born. That's Jake built that. Every individual brick, the mannerism of how it was built, they can't
and lived in it.
And lived in that. They can't replicate that shit now.
Because they don't even they don't live in them castles, man. They're like, you know, Esau has made them like tourist attractions and stuff.
Yeah.
But people lived in it, and towns was built around those castles. They don't. But that shows you that in the spirit of Esau, because that's not how you live today. You are the spirit of who you are because you'd have that same characteristics.
And architecture is within its place. When you have rulerships, that you go to a land, you can see from the architecture alone who rules that land. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Over here in England, if you go to Brighton, okay, in Brighton there's a palace, and the palace, Brighton Palace, is actually, the architecture of it is from Elam, from the East Indian Empire, and that's because the Brits ruled, the Elamite British in the empire ruled over that land, man, and they got someone to come and build it. And you know how out of place, bro? You've been
No, I've never had it. No.
Afterwards, I'll type it in Google. It looks so out of place for the land that it's in, because that should be an Elam land. Okay, so that shows you that even architecture, the spirit of how it is, is important, because that shows you where you are. All of a sudden, they were having senate houses in Rome. The Maccabees came, which the brother's going to read it if you can keep reading, bro. Oh, shit.
It says, and after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils were multiplied upon the earth.
Yep.
And that's happened again. Even just down to a very fine detail was because iniquity is abounding, the love of many is waxing cold. Just go back to a couple hundred years, and it was a bit more warmth, you know, a bit more warmth. The taverns were a bit more warm back then, you know. There was people had more honor. Why? Because Jake was in rulership. Now, if you go to this time, this is the worst time to be, you know. This is the worst time to live. It's one of the most, like the apostles say, decadent societies, decaying. Yeah,
decaying. It's decaying, and part of it, and this proves that it's wrong too, man. Because even Rome, there was a Caesar, and when he was towards basically what he wanted to do was, the morale of Rome was decreasing. People were just being slutties, whores, degenerates, cutthroats. You know, it was, the morale of the place was declining. So what he wanted to do, this Edomite dude, was bring it back to an age when it weren't, you know, bring it back to an age when it was there was a more order in the place. Right. But it was coming to its end.
Yeah.
So it was decaying.
And that's decadence.
Yeah, and that's the same with this place, because when you look at this kingdom, man, like in England, let's say England, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, post-war, women were in the house, dressed up, you know, they weren't, you know, feminism weren't around. You know what I'm saying? Women were under the men. The man was just a working man, whatever the case may be. But now that's totally decayed away. It's degenerate. Like, women are just wearing what the fuck they want. The crime is at all-time high. Drugs everywhere. So this is a decaying kingdom, which is further signs that it's Rome and it's coming to its end again, man. Yeah. All the dirt all the wickedness of this kingdom is coming out.
It's in its decadent stage.
Yeah.
Of an empire.
Yeah. And what was happening in the ancient Roman Empire as well, towards the end of it, the pagan Roman Empire, people were getting fed up, man, with the laws. You know, people were getting fed up. The lands they were being ruled over, they were just getting fed up of the oppression. So change had to come. So that's what's happening today. Change is coming, and Rome 2.0 is sinking. Because it's wickedness.
Homosexuality is becoming more and more rampant, more accepted in society in ancient Rome. The economy, the currency that they were using at the time was becoming devalued. You know, they were spreading their armies thin.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Throughout their kingdom.
Yeah.
And hey,
What's happening to the dollar today?
it's
What's happening to the American army today?
they're spread so far around the world. They're just, you know, they're spread thin. It's just, you know, which is affecting them.
Who promoted sodomy? Who promoted homosexuality in a big way upon the earth?
And you know what's funny? You mentioned something because it just popped in my head. You mentioned honor, and another thing I was going to say is the eagle. The eagle.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, the spirit. Yeah,
I was trying to say
bro.
that. Yeah.
The eagle. The eagle is the symbol of Rome, Esau, Greece, Rome, America, Germany, the Hitler, the Nazi party, Italy, Mussolini. They had the eagle. That's a major sign, bro. And it shows you that you was mentioning Esau's influence on the earth, the change, because you was mentioning about honor, the Middle Ages, which is a fucked up time as well. But there was more. They were more in tune
Because
with.
it's Jake, we're the righteous.
Yeah,
Even when we're going off, really.
Yeah, and even when you look at the samurai, which you know, the first samurai were Jake, and even with the samurai, they had an honor-based society. You know, they would rather die than to be shamed. You know, stuff like that. You know, like they have that. I forgot what it is, but they have that small sword where they'll just take themselves out when captured and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's called like seppuku or something like that.
Or
Killing
if you,
yourself,
or if you dishonor your family, you know, you do something dishonorable, you know, they would take themselves out pretty much. But even now, you look at the Japanese, they don't have that culture no more.
No.
They got they're cutthroat businessmen, suits and ties. You know, you know what I'm saying. So that shows you the world shifted, and the influence of the world is under the influence of the wicked Roman Empire all over again, man. So that whole influence is everywhere, man. You know, the homosexuality, like the brother was saying, that transsexual shit, that's everywhere, man. You can't avoid it, man.
Yeah.
Wow. There's some more in this, yeah.
Can I add a quick precept?
Go on.
This is Job chapter 9, verse 24. And it says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?"
Yeah.
And in that time, they didn't do that. They didn't cover the faces of the judges. Judah was still in power. They still knew that they were Israelites. You still had the high priest. They were keeping laws to a certain extent. That's in this time. You know, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked again. And this time they've covered the face of the judges thereof. That's iconoclasm, the Renaissance art, all of that have covered who we are as being Israelites.
Yeah. And you know what? As well, another way you know this is wrong too, because when Judea was conquered, they used to, you know, immortalized it. You know the Ark of Titus.
Yeah.
Judah copped to the coins. Now, when you fast forward into the future, America, when America enslaved Jake, the first American monies, like on the money, you had etchings of Negroes in slavery, man.
Picking cotton
on the
pictures. $5 bills and all that.
On the $5 bills. They don't have them no more. I mean, Edomites probably have them as collector's items, man. You know, but a lot of people don't look into that or know that. But they had the notes, the dollar bills had Judah in slavery, like as a drawings. You know, on the pictures, just like you have the pyramid and all that today, they actually had Jake in the pictures in slavery as part of their money. Just Judah Copter.
Yeah.
Judea's conquered, you know? But that shows you that. You see, so that proves that's Rome also too. Why the hell would you have that? The same thing you had etched on your coins in Rome, you had it etched in your fucking so-called money in this new world, this new system. You know? Go on, brother.
Yeah, that was it on that.
That was it on that?
Yeah.
Can't.
Well, actually, I've got a preset to it. So
Go on.
this is
You want me to hold Maccabee still? Or?
calm.
Yeah.
This is you said there was some more in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, just to prove who the wicked is. "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places which they have done. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever." So wherever this man goes, that's the border of wickedness. That means he's the wicked wherever he goes. And you have to understand, if this man is in Mount Seir, which is where Esau's land is originally, that's where wickedness is. If this man is in Greece, if this man is in Rome, Italy, then that's where wickedness is. If this man is in America, if this man is in England, if this man is around the whole world, that's where wickedness is, man. So the border of wickedness, that's why the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You know? So that's how you know we're in a time right now where the wicked are in rulership. The wicked are Esau, which is Edom, as we just shown in the scriptures. And we're giving you examples of when they ruled before and how they're ruling now and how it correlates. There's nothing new under the sun, and it makes perfect sense if you were able to receive it.
Yeah, it all adds up, man.
Yeah,
it all adds up. You know.
That's right, man, bro.
I got a quick one here for you. This is bring this one out here. Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. You know, and that's talking about the dead bodies of the Israelites in slavery, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American in captivity in America, man. Which it says in a street which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Yeah, because America is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, because it's Sodom and Gomorrah was what? Known 5 cities of iniquity which got destroyed. And what's America today? It's that kingdom back again too, all rolled into one, man. Rome, Sodom, Babylon, all rolled into one, man.
Babylon the Great.
Babylon the Great, mystery Babylon. That's why it's a mystery.
Yeah.
But you have to know the script, the Lord, opens your mind up to know, not like to wake up to it. Okay, so it is Rome, this is why. It is Babylon, this is why. It is Sodom and Gomorrah, this is why. It's all back again, man. You know? So it says, and guess what? And Obama, he was the one that passed, President Obama, right? Which he's not an Israelite. He passed a law that all states should allow homosexuality. He's the one that
homosexual marriage.
Homosexual marriage.
Yeah.
Not allow it because they were
legitimize.
Put it in the books. Put it in the
the
books.
word.
Yeah. He did. He made it legitimate. He put it in the books, man.
Yeah.
So that's America is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. And Egypt because it's a place of bondage for the Israelites, man. And go on.
Which is part of unrighteous decrees. Yeah. Unrighteous being the righteousnesses of the law. And that's completely against the law. Leviticus 20 and 13. You know?
Yeah.
A man shall not lie with another man, you know, as he does with a woman pretty much, man. You know? But he completely, that's why this is an unrighteous kingdom. So like
yeah, that's right. It's an unrighteous kingdom, man. And it says where also the Lord was crucified because they basically in ancient Rome they physically crucified him. Yahushua, yeah? But in this kingdom, how did they crucify the Lord? They have lied on his image. And who the fuck did that? The Romans, Esau. Which really is the Esau, because it's Esau, that's their true identity, right? Edomites, right? That's who's ruling. But you know, they were known in the past as the Greeks, you know, the Roman Empire, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. But they crucified the Lord this time around by lying on his image, man. You know? So they crucified him in ancient Rome and they crucified him in this Rome. You know? Yeah, man. And it's about to get destroyed. So this is what it is, man. I'm going to keep reading it here, verse 9. It's about to get its judgment. Because that's the main point that we're really pushing out. That this is Rome all over again. And it's falling. Yeah. It's falling, man. All right?
Which the second leg of the Roman Empire in the statue in Daniel, okay,
we'll get that.
Was the...
we'll get... Go on.
Was the iron mixed with miry clay. And you know what happened to that statue? Which is at the feet, the toes? It got smashed in by a stone. And that stone...
I'm gonna get that scripture, the Daniel 2:44. Keep speaking, brother.
No, you're gonna get it out, you know.
I'm gonna get
pretty much that stone, I'm gonna tell you that stone represents Yahushua. You know? Yahushua is gonna come on a big chariot as well, man. You know? Which is seen almost like a mountain. The Lord's coming in that great stone. He is that great stone. He's coming and he's gonna destroy this kingdom. That's Daniel was pretty much a breakdown of from that time in Babylon, all the different empires going right down to the end before the kingdom of Israel was going to come to play. You know? So that's what we're living out, man.
Yeah. And in the ancient Roman Empire, who's the ruling class? Esau. In this kingdom, who's the ruling class? Esau. It's the same.
Why do they call it the pagan Roman Empire? Which pagan meaning what? Like pagan beliefs outside of the truth, in a sense. And then the Holy Roman Empire. Why did it suddenly become holy? Who's the holy people? Is it not the Israelites? So as soon as Jay came to rulership, suddenly it became Byzantium, the Eastern Bloc, the Holy Roman Empire was known as Constantine and all of that.
Yeah.
But before that, it was known as the pagan Roman Empire. Why did it change? Why did they call that? Because it was different nations in rulership. Yeah,
but Esau done a lot of lying, man, because that's why you never hear about the Middle Ages like that because Jacob was ruling. But what you do here is Esau's lies about that time. That's what you're gonna hear, and really you growing up thinking that was Esau ruling then too, but it weren't. It was a whole different way of life, man.
Who was it that they worshipped back then? The gods of the planets.
Yeah, they had their
Plutos and Jupiters and all that.
Yeah,
Mars and
all types of gods. They had gods for every day, man. You know.
Yeah.
But then when the Middle Ages came about, they brought it back to the beliefs of Christianity, even though they were going off.
Yeah.
They brought it back because they knew they were the people of the Lord too, you know.
They were talking about saints. They were talking about the anointed ones, the anointed one.
Yeah.
That's what they was talking about, man.
Yep. I got this here. This is Daniel 2:43. It says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall not be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever."
Yeah. Oh, and the toes, they represent, the different rulerships, the kings, the countries that were in rulership. The original, you had the Europe Economic Commission, which went into EU, which that pretty much goes into the beast. Because the beast, the power structure of the beast, which is the power structure of Esau, the main power structure bulk is EU and NATO, which America's in that as well. The Great Babylon, Babylon the Great is in that too.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how, what's that last bit of the scripture that said, it pretty much said that the Lord was going to, in the time of these kings, that the Lord was going to set up the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
So right now, we're in the time of those kings. We're in the time of these Rothschilds and all that, ruling over this power structure. And in the time of this Europe and all the different founding countries of it and all that, we're still in that time. That hasn't changed. We haven't had an interim of another rulership and then we're going to come in. Because the scripture says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It's going to go straight into Israelite rulership. And you're going to see that shit change overnight.
Can I read this for you quickly?
Oh, sure.
Daniel 2:34 to the part where because I did jump down there, right? And it says, Thou sawest, because you're talking about the statue, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
That's what the Lord's going to come to do. He's going to come to break this place into pieces. Even in Malachi, when they rebuild the desolate places, what do you say? You're going to build, but I'm going to throw down. Yeah. The Lord prophesied that already, man. He prophesied that it's all going to get flattened, man. The Lord's going to come and we read it at the beginning of Scripture. The idols of Egypt. Yeah. Okay. The heart of Egypt melting. America is going to get completely nuked. Let me say that. Okay, and these other lands, these other cities of Esau is going to also get hit by these nukes, man. And they're going to go out by way of fire.
Going to be destroyed, man. Yeah. So I'll finish this off on here. It says back in Daniel 2:44, it says, "And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." All right, and that's the kingdom of heaven, man. And that's Yahweh Shai's kingdom. But you see, the Lord said before he comes back that Esau would be ruling. Esau is the end of this world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. So if them so-called Jews, all right, which the so-called Jews, they're the Romans, man. If they're Jacob, Esau would have had to have been brought down already, but there's no historical documentation of Esau being brought down. So come on, man. Yeah, brother, you got something up?
Yeah, we'll
finish up soon,
Alright, 2 more verses in Isaiah 19.
Go on.
This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom." And just like it was in the Roman Empire with the barbarian attacks, the Visigoths and all that was coming and attacking the Roman Empire, now what do you have? You've got EU and NATO, the West as they call it, and then you've got the Eastern Bloc, Russia, China, allied with different places, India as well and all that.
Yeah.
Pretty much now there's an East versus West divide. And remember, this is Esau's kingdom. And what did Yahweh Shai say when he broke it down clean? He said, if Satan be divided against Satan, how shall his kingdom stand? It won't.
It won't.
That was like a rhetorical question. How?
Mm-hmm.
They already know the answer. The answer is that it won't stand.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the divide and conquer, as they say.
Yeah.
It's a kingdom divided. When Solomon, who was in rulership after King David, what happened? King David pretty much brought that land together.
Yeah.
Land of Israel.
Yeah.
Okay. Unified it, Saul and everything that happened. Solomon had that peace in that kingdom 40 years. After Solomon went,
all the tribes were together.
All them tribes were together. And what happened? After Solomon died, Rehoboam and Jeroboam, his sons, that got divided. And as soon as it became divided, Israel went into captivity.
Yeah.
Some of them, and eventually they, went over to the Americas.
Yeah.
Which, Ephraim and the other tribes over there. And you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and a couple of tribes mingled amongst them. In Judah, there's the southern kingdom. And that was a split. So if that's what happened with us, that shows you that a split in a kingdom shows you weakness.
Yeah, you fool. That's it, man. You fool, man.
Yeah.
That's how it works, bro, isn't it?
And even within EU, miry clay, iron and some
it don't mesh. It don't
mesh.
Yeah.
Why? So that's why you got partly strong kingdoms and partly weak kingdoms. Like
in this society.
Like Greece, for example, isn't Greece in the EU?
Yeah.
But Greece is a weak
economy.
It's fucked.
Italy. Yeah.
Spain.
Okay. Portugal.
Yeah. But England, France, Germany.
They're strong economies.
They're strong economies.
Mm-hmm.
So that place is divided, but the scriptures pretty much like the Russians versus the Americans, man. Egyptians versus the Egyptians. They're the same people. The Edomites versus the Edomites. They don't have the power coming against them.
Yeah. That's all for the Lord prophecy's sake, man.
Yeah. The Ishmaelites ain't raising up and they're coming up against... they tried that already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They got
infiltrated
from within. It don't work, man. Moabites, they say the Moabites, Chinese and all that. No.
They got next.
Moab ain't going to do shit.
The only reason why it looks like they got next is because they're like at the head of everything right now. They're ahead of everyone. They're making America look stupid. They're richer. Their economy's tough.
Yeah.
The people are ready for war. You know what I'm saying? But that's the Lord, man. But guess what? The Lord's doing that to bring them all down in the end.
Because it's World War III.
World War III, man.
Yeah. That's why the weak saying that they're strong. Now they've got this new technology. Look, in the time when... Look, you got to remember that Esau's got the blessing and the sword. Unless the Lord says so, no one ain't going to take him down.
That's it.
The Japanese, the Lord showed that through the Japanese. The Japanese were doing well. They had their standing army. Technology was going... What happened? 2 nukes.
Just fuck their whole shit up.
So they basically just... Their nation
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man. Yeah.
After that, do you know how much trauma to this day... Generations upon generations of traumatic trauma has been experienced by the Ammonites. Why? Because it's not their time of rulership. Ammon had their time. Ammon had their kingdoms.
This is Esau's time, man.
This is Esau's time. And after that, it's going to be Jacob's time.
Esau's the end of the world. 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Esau is the end of this world. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm just going to read the last couple of verses, bro.
On,
and the spirit of Egypt, which that's what's happening in America, the spirit of America, Babylon, shall fall in the midst thereof.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
It's falling.
And
it's falling. You can't see this place is falling, man. 50
million people unemployed.
Bro, this place is done. Bankrupt. Banks are just getting bust. The mom and pop businesses done. Like the small businesses, little pizza shops, sandwich shops, finished.
The music.
The only thing that's open, the majority of what's open is big corporations.
Yeah.
The McDonald's or whatever. Yeah, because they're just big. They're run by the so-called Jews. No, they're big industries. They're there to keep feeding you that nasty
slop and getting the last bit of fucking pennies out of you.
Your good old cozy little restaurants that a family own, they're done.
They're done. They're done, and they're in heavy debt right now. If they ain't done, they're in debt. Heavy debt that they didn't need to be in. Over an invisible enemy. Esau's done a number, man.
The COVID.
They're bringing down this. They're systematically bringing down this kingdom. Because the elites have their agenda.
That's right.
They get told by the demon what to do, and their agenda on the left hand side is to bring about their new world order. They want to bring about this chip. The international banking families, you have to understand, their ultimate goal, and they explained this to Aaron Russo, is to chip the people. That's what the owners of these Federal Reserve, the central bank, the Bank of England, all these central banks, the world banks, that is their goal. They want to chip.
They want to chip you, and that's what we're coming into now, man. They're saying They want to vaccine everyone real soon. This second lockdown, second wave, is coming. It's soon. The so-called second wave. We've already been on lock. We've just been locked down since this COVID. Everyone just locked down. You think because they're letting you go to a few shops now, you still locked down.
Yeah.
No one even wants. Everyone's so mentally fucked.
Yeah.
No one even leaves their house, and no one wants to do anything anyway.
Oh, the Brits love to go Tenerife.
Yeah,
Malaga.
you can't do that no more.
Now, if you do that, you got to be fucking locked
Quarantine.
up for 10 days, 2 weeks, or whatever it is.
You're gonna go to these places and not come back.
Yeah, you could be self-employed. Now you lost 2 weeks of pay because you had to fucking quarantine on your way back. You want to take a 3-day holiday. That's what some geezer did. You want to take a 3-day holiday on the weekend, but he has to quarantine himself for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, he's lost business.
2 weeks isolation.
Yeah. Oh, some workplaces, like my workplace, for example. Oh, you want to go out for a 2-week holiday? You get a month off, right? You want to go out for a 2-week holiday? Well, on your way back, you got to do a 2-week quarantine, and that's your holiday. Your holiday is done for the year.
This place is done, man. And that's, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, man. The Lord is like, and we can see it. We happy. We're reading it, man. It says it right there, brother. Yeah. You know, these people don't know what's going on, but praise the Lord that we got this information, man.
Yeah. And it says, and I will destroy the counsel thereof.
That's all their wise men.
Yeah.
That's in Isaiah 47 also, man. Stand up with your witchcrafts if it's gonna help you.
Yeah.
That's all their wise men, all their politicians, and these people are all done, man. They're done. Go on, man.
And they shall seek to the idols.
they shall seek to the idols. Yeah. They shall seek to their fucking the Baphomet or whoever, the demons that have been giving them answers all this time, and that's happening right now, man. That's happening.
It's gonna say it.
Go on, man.
It says, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards.
So they're seeking to their councils on the left-hand side to get answers, and you know what? They're probably not giving them what they wanted to hear anymore.
Yeah.
Or they're just telling them, fulfill your order, fulfill what you have to do, and they're just going for it now. That's why but that's all on the Lord's timing, because look how easily the elites have locked the planet down. Easily, in the space of 3 months, they've shut everything down, telling you we're gonna vaccinate you. But I told you it's all on the Most High's timing. Then demons probably said it's time now to them. It's all on the Lord's timing. But guess what? There's gonna be a time when you do consult with them, you're not gonna get no fucking answers, man. You're not gonna get no answers.
Yeah, because the only reason that Satan's with you is because the Lord has commanded that to be.
Yeah.
When the Lord says to Satan, like, the time is now, it's finished.
That's it.
That's it. You ain't getting no demons in their ranks are coming to help you.
You're just gonna be done, man.
Yeah. Then you're gonna realize what you're gonna really know in that time.
Yeah, man. That's right.
It says, and the Egyptians...
because elites, you're only gonna get but so far, with your kingdom. Yeah. That's Job, man. You're gonna get so far with and that's why we pray that it's coming, because it's very close. They're saying they want to vaccinate everyone, and we know that the chip is a major part of prophecy.
Yeah.
And the Lord ain't just gonna leave us here for hundreds of years with people chipped. He's gonna bring an end to this place.
Yeah. So
we know that's close. So once you start bringing that chip in, your demise is near, man.
Yeah.
Yahushua is close to returning once that happens. He's close now. But once that happens, the RFID, the NFC chip in Europe, then we know, man, we're close. We're close, man.
That's right. And it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So that's what's going to happen.
That's it.
We're going to be ruling over them, man. Okay.
And Yahushua is going to be fierce over these elites.
That's right.
And the Lord said when He gives us the Spirit, He's going to put the Spirit on us according to His anger. So we're going to be because we know all this wickedness that's going on. We want a righteous world, so we're going to be fucking you up for all the dirt you're doing, man.
Yeah. Oh, and the Lord, Yahushua, it says in the Psalms that He's going to be putting fetters on these kings. He's going to be one of the first owners. Psalms 2. He's gonna inherit slaves, and they're gonna probably be the elites, pursuant to Psalms, man. Yeah. He's gonna get their first crop, So he's gonna be a cruel lord over them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the way it is, man. That's that stone.
Just like they're cruel over Jake now. They're cruel over this whole planet, but particularly to the Israelites. The Lord's gonna be Ooh.
Yahushua is pissed off, man.
Yeah.
Back when he was in Rome, you think he was fucking about? What did he say? He said, if this is my kingdom, my servants would fight. Well, when the Lord returns, that's the start of his kingdom. So what do you think is going to happen, man? You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got any more up?
No, that's it on that, bro.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got anything you wanted to say?
No.
Hey, with that, just say, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the Archeon, man, teaching this word. Shalom, brother. Shalom.
Shalom.